my boo things. Welcome back to my channel. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I went on a little vacation. I don't even look tanned, honestly. I find as I get older, I just want to be in the shade the whole entire time. The direct sun just makes me feel a little overwhelmed, but it was fun. I went to Mexico, just a short little vacation, 4 days, 3 nights, and it was a nice little getaway. So I feel like it's been a while since I've made a video, but I'm excited to be back. Today we're going to be talking about the top hat man. I've actually heard some mixed things about the top hat man. Some people say that they don't find him to be as menacing as he may come across. Some say that he brings a bit of a calming presence, while others say that he does bring a menacing presence. But we're gonna listen to people's stories today and see what's up. Today, as you can see, we have some spicy bulldog noodles with some mozzarella cheese and corn. Such a good combo. And a boiled egg, of course. My niece, when she was like 3 years old, she used to say that she would see a top hat man in her room and that he would climb the walls like on all fours, like climb it like a spider. I was like, oh my god, are you sure? Yeah, it was so creepy. But now she's a bit older, she doesn't really remember seeing him, but goddamn, that one sounds kind of menacing to me. She always described him as wearing a top hat and climbing like a spider. I hated that. Anyways, let's get into our first bites. Does anyone else have a love-hate relationship with these spicy bulldog noodles? I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna act tough and pretend like I can do the whole spicy sauce. It is spicy, and I love spice, but my tummy's probably gonna be destroyed after this. But I'm still gonna enjoy it. Let's go, guys. If you're ready, then get yourself your favorite snack, get a cozy blanket, and let's get freaky, y'all. Let's go.
Definitely not some meme. I seen who at the time I described as top hat guy, when I was maybe 8 to 10 years old, 2003 to 5, before we ever even had dial-up internet. I didn't even know his name was the Hat Man, until I seen a documentary about him maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I called him Top Hat Guy, because I didn't know the name of a fedora. Anyways, when I was 8 to 10 years old, probably closer to 8, me and my big brother were getting ready for bed. I turned off the light by the door, got into bed, and was going to turn on my nightlight on the floor. It was one of those lights that spin and have a glass block with a picture carved out sitting on top. Oddly enough, mine had hands holding a cross. When I rolled over to turn it on there, he was laying on my floor right under my nightlight. The figure was maybe 7 feet, laying flat in what looked like a tuxedo with his hands crossed on his chest, holding his hat like he was in a coffin, and had pitch-white eyes just staring at me completely still. I jumped into the middle of the bed, started screaming and crying when my brother jumped up ready to beat something up, but when he turned the lights on, it was gone. He eventually calmed me down and I fell asleep. The very next day we had a friend over and our dad was at work, so we played hide and seek in the house. Our house wasn't really big like that, Lowell, so I went to hide in our dad's closet because he had a kind of big walk-in closet with all his clothes.
It's always during hide and seek
some
shit happens.
I tucked myself in the corner behind clothes. After maybe 10 seconds, I heard a soft exhale behind me. But my back was flat against the wall, felt a cold breath on my neck, turned my head, and there he was again. Except this time he was in like a trench coat, had his hat on and his eyes were glowing red. No face, just a pitch-black figure and glowing red eyes. Even though we were in a small space, I could feel he was towering over me like 10 feet tall. I don't think I've ever ran so fast or screamed so loud in my life. Later that day when our dad got home, we tried telling him about it. But he did the typical parent thing and was like, yeah, I hired some leprechauns to mess with you guys sometimes. I'll tell them to chill out. Never seen the Hat Man again, and hope I don't honestly from that personal experience and from other similar stories I've heard or read. I think he might be some sort of momentary guardian angel, or possibly even the angel of death. But who knows? I've even thought about how he was laying under my nightlight, hands holding a cross, with pitch-white eyes was maybe his way of showing he wasn't of malicious intent. But of course, as a child and having no clue what it could be, fear takes over. I'll never forget it, and every time I talk about it, I get the chills and teary-eyed.
Okay, see what I mean? She was like, maybe possibly getting guardian angel vibes. But then, the other time that he showed up, he had glowing red eyes. Like, girl, that ain't no guardian angel. But a very random visit, it's like, why just pop in and then leave to never be seen again? I don't know. This spicy as hell. Let's get into our next story.
I was about 9 to 10 years of age or so when I saw a tall black figure with dim glowing red eyes standing in my doorway. It happened in the middle of the night, and that night, I remember particularly having difficulty falling asleep. Something just felt off, and I couldn't explain why. I'd just started sleeping on my own maybe a month prior, so I was still just getting used to that. But this night was different. I was so scared of nothing, scared to even breathe, scared to expose my head out from under the covers. I felt like I was being watched. My bed was in the upper left corner of the room, and my bedroom door was about 4 feet away to the right, so that when I slept on my left side, I'd be facing the doorway. My room was right next to the staircase, too. I must have been awake for hours, shutting my eyes tightly, suffocating under the blanket, slowing my breathing, and stiffening my muscles before I couldn't take it anymore and popped my head out for some air. But as soon as I did that, I felt the presence in the doorway. I willed myself so hard to not open my eyes and look, but I did it anyway because I wanted to confirm that what I was feeling was just a feeling. At first, he was just standing there, and all I saw was just a silhouette of blackness. I could tell he wore a top hat and a long coat, and the edges of his silhouette weren't crisp, but hazy. He was also tall, or looked tall because the top of his hat was almost touching the doorframe. But when I focused on his face, that was when I noticed glowing red eyes, but they were a soft, dimmed glow, barely even noticeable. I felt my entire body freeze and all the hairs on my body stand the moment I saw him. I could not move. I could not breathe. I couldn't even blink. I was too afraid to look at him and too afraid to look away at the same time. I honestly don't remember if he had left, but I know I blacked out because I could not remember anything after or how I even fell asleep. Years later, I'm in my early 20s, and I somehow remember this incident randomly. I decided to look him up with the descriptors I still remembered from my childhood, and discovered that he has a name and has been seen by many others before too. The Hat Man.
My lips are on fire. What do you guys think that's about? Like, is the Top Hat Man good? Is the Top Hat Man bad? Everyone seems to have conflicting feelings about him. I hope I never see him to find out. But let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Is the Top Hat Man good or is he bad? Next story.
I am 38F, and this happened in January 2024. I underwent a complete thyroidectomy, thyroid removal, in the first week of January, and was still under recovery when this happened. So if you want to know, yes, I was on painkiller and other meds, but nothing that could lead to hallucinations. 12 days after my surgery, I was allowed to have visitors at home. I had a lot of people coming to see me. On this particular day, my cousin decided to stay back with me, and she slept in my bed beside me. At one point in the night, I woke up choking. Now I was not supposed to exert any pressure on my neck or throat, but I felt like I could not breathe. My breath was being, for lack of better words, being sucked out of me. I turned towards my left, and that's when I saw them. They were standing in my room, 2 shadows figures. I can't explain it, but I felt like those beings were women or feminine. Both the shadow figure wore a top hat and what looked like a coat.
To be honest, for some reason they reminded me of Queen Elizabeth. They honestly felt and reminded me of old women. Now one of these shadow creatures was trying their best to choke me, steal my soul, breath. But the other was stopping her. The other one kept pulling at her arm saying, "We are not supposed to do that. This is the wrong one. We got the wrong one." But that didn't stop the first creature. She pushed the other one away, started to bend towards me, but suddenly something behind them shifting. My wall and wardrobe disappeared, and there was a grayish-silver mist. They both disappeared into it. The moment they vanished, I could breathe again. Meanwhile, my cousin next to me woke up. She kept telling me, "You kind of stopped breathing." The next day I spoke to my surgeon about this. I asked her so I have sleep apnea or some other disorders, but my doctor was skeptical about it. I also want to add, after this experience I started hearing noises around my house. The house felt oppressive and I had nightmares. The whole year was a disaster, and within the 1 year since this happened, I lost my job and my father passed away. Still trying to make sense of this, I wonder if anyone else had similar experience.
So that's the first time I've ever heard of like a female top hat man, which is interesting. And this one was followed with negative events that kind of came into her life afterwards, which gives us more of a clue, like this was a menacing figure, a menacing top hat presence who came to cause harm and damage. What's confusing is that there was like multiple of them, and saying that they got the wrong girl, the wrong person, it's like, what? That's so scary. Let me know if you guys have had any encounters with the top hat man and what the experience was like what was the vibe? Did anything happen after? Was it a one-time thing? Did he follow you? Did she follow you for a while? Let me know. We have a last story for today, guys. Let's get into it.
Back in 2021, I was pregnant working at this woman's house. She was in the late stages of dementia. Before I go into the creepy dream, I had let me explain the layout of the house. She lived in the middle of a wooded area fenced-in property, and her house was mainly windows. There was this couch and this open space beside her living room in the front part of the house. Now let me get into the real reason I'm telling this story. It was during the day. I had fallen asleep right after my patient had laid down to take her nap. I could see myself laying on the couch, and I was screaming at myself to wake up. Wake up! Wake up now! In the background was this tall black figure with a top hat on, wearing a trench coat, standing behind the trees. He started approaching the house. I was screaming at myself to wake up, screaming louder and louder as he started getting closer. When he got to the windows of the house, I saw his hands, and he had super long fingers, older, decrepit, and skinny long fingers. It got completely dark, and he started walking to the door to enter the house. I couldn't do nothing but yell at myself to wake up. The door opens, and he wrapped his long fingers around the door, and I suddenly gasped for air, waking up in a panic, sweating and breathing heavily. I'll never forget that dream. I was scrolling on TikTok and saw that same dark figure that I saw in my dream. It scared me so bad. What does that mean? Who is he? How did I see him in my dream?
Girl, you know what, guys? I only have a little bit left, so we're gonna just mukbang style the rest of this Buldak Noodles here because I'm out of stories for today. Egg makes everything better. Fight me about it. What the fuck? Bruh. That was spicy but so good. Oh my gosh, I love Buldak Noodles. I just wish I could handle the spice a bit more. Not that I don't like the spice, I love spicy food. But yeah, y'all know how I be. So, what do you think about those stories today? What do you think about the Top Hat Man? To me, he's so mysterious. It's like, I want to know. Is he good or is he a bad presence? I get mixed things. I hear mixed things. Anyways, if you have any scary stories that you want to share about the Top Hat Man or anything supernatural, please send me an email. I'm going to drop my email down below here. Or even message me on TikTok, Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and we can have a chat about it. I would love to hear any paranormal experiences that you guys have. I love it. Okay, boo thing.